Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Allen W. Sugarman Sports Complex here in Fort Lee, New Jersey, the setting for our first game here as part of the Bergen County Coaches Association Tournament. As tonight it's going to be the Cougars of Creskill, 7-1 on the season, taking on the Bridgemen of Fort Lee, 6-3 on the season. Hello, everyone. I'm Dan Long, joined alongside by Dimitri Nanis and Maria Giantanasio, and we are so glad that you could join us for our broadcast here of Fort Lee Bridgeman Soccer on Fort Lee's Athletic Department's YouTube channel. A lot to say here, a lot of words to get things going as we're going to have a good one here. This is going to be a rematch of the county tournament game back in 2019. These two identical teams matched up in the first round of the 2019 Bergen County tournament. That was a 2-1 victory for Creskill in that opening round. And now Fort Lee is going to be trying to make amends and flip the script here today as they're going to be trying to defend their home field against Creskill and hand the Cougars what would only be their second loss of the season. The winner of today's game will advance in the tournament to take on Don Bosco Prep in the next round of action. Creskill 7-1 on the season. They have won 6 consecutive matches heading into tonight's action, while Fort Lee is coming off a win in their last game, snapping a 2-game losing skid by delivering a victory on the road in Ordell against Riverdale 1-0. So they have a little momentum on their side as well. And for Coach Demba Main, he's going to be trying to have his team win their 7th game of the season and continue their hot course of play that saw Fort Lee jump out to 5 wins in their first 6 fixtures of the season. This is a matchup of the Big North Conference and the NJIC. As we'll see. Now Fort Lee onto the field, getting ready here. They are in their special pink uniforms in honor of October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So the Bridgemen will be wearing their new pink kits here this evening, while in the all-white with the gold numbers is going to be Creskill. Again, the last time that these sides met, October 3rd, 2019 in the first round of the county tournament, with Creskill picking up the 2-1 victory. Creskill's lone defeat this season came back on September 13th, losing to Emerson 1-0. Well, Fort Lee had been mired in a brief 2-game losing skid, losing back-to-back home games against Westwood and Ramsey, being shut out by a combined 6-0 score in those 2 games before hitting the road and producing a big victory against Riverdale to get back in the win column. So we're just having, again, just the final stages here of warm-ups here for both teams, as we might be waiting for one of the officials to get here, as traffic obviously in the area, always a problem. And we'll get you started soon enough here for the opening of tonight's festivities, as we will kick off this first round game in the 2021 Bergen County Soccer Tournament between Creskill and Fort Lee, coming up next here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. So again, we are now moments away from the start of tonight's game. It looks like we have both officials now in attendance. As you can imagine, the traffic at night trying to get into Fort Lee just on the edge of the GWB is going to lead to a lot of backups and traffic jams, and that seems to have been the case here this evening. As both teams were here, we had one referee, and now we have two in their fluorescent yellow, ready to go here as we're about to kick off this first round game as part of the 2021 Bergen County Soccer Tournament. Tim Serby, in his third season in charge of Creskill, has led the Cougars to the North 1 Group 1 sectional final back in his first season in 2019. And Demba Main, in charge of his alma mater, 10th season overall, 93 wins. As the head man here at Fort Lee has led his alma mater to 4 winning seasons and to the North 2 Group 2 sectional semifinals back in 2015. Fort Lee, the home side here this evening, they are going to be wearing the pink uniforms with the black shorts, and Creskill in their all white with the gold numerals. Creskill 7-1 on the season, Fort Lee 6-3. As we are about to get underway again, the winner of tonight's match will advance in the tournament and take on perennial favorite Don Bosco Prep in the next round of the tournament over the weekend. And we are underway with Creskill kicking things off here at the Dr. Allen W. Sugarman Sports Complex in Fort Lee. As Creskill will play it back on the defensive end, knocked out of bounds. Last touch off of Fort Lee, and their leading scorer, Timofey Strelli. Strelli, the senior, leads Fort Lee with 7 goals, 1 assist on the season. He's number 11 in pink. Here's an interception already, trying to get it up top. It gets to the foot of Strelli. Strelli takes the shot and scores! Less than a minute gone by, and a mistake in the back line leads to the opening goal of the game for Timofey Strelli. Fort Lee not wasting any time as that ball was procured up front. Toma Takamatsu initially got a piece of it, and then the back heel found number 11, and there's the dangerous Strelli scoring his 8th goal of the season and his 10th of his varsity career here at Fort Lee. What a start for Coach Demba Main's side. Just over 30 seconds gone by, 36 to be exact, and Fort Lee has already raced down to an early 1-0 advantage. A picture-perfect start in this one for Fort Lee, as they jumped out in front. Again, hadn't even had the opportunity to introduce the 2 keepers in this game yet. Based on how quickly that goal was scored, getting the start for Fort Lee, it looks like it's going to be number 0, the sophomore Benjamin Tamas, and Jacob Lee getting the start for Creskill. So now the Cougars trailing 1-0, surrendering only their 10th goal of the season in this game number 9. Now it gets down to the near side to Strelli, flicks it over to Oakley, making the run up the near sideline. As that's deflected out of play, last touch off of Fort Lee will be a throw-it. Alex Oakley, the senior, who has been a strong offensive catalyst up front, 6 points on the season alongside Strelli. Strelli had the game-winning goal, the lone goal in that shutout victory against Riverdale earlier this week on October 5th. Now he gets the goal going here for Fort Lee. Goal kick upcoming now for Creskill. So how does Creskill respond? This is a team that has been rolling in the midst of a 6-game win streak heading into this tournament game here tonight. Now under the lights, they surrender a goal 36 seconds into the start of the game. As Fort Lee is going to be trying to get aggressive here and continue the good times rolling. As Oakley will have to pick up the ball and now will trigger the restart of play. Headed forward by Strelli. Taken in defensively, there's Strelly again, popping it forward to himself on the near sideline. Keeps it in play. Centering ball, has a teammate in the top of the box, and headed sharply just up and over the crossbar and out of play. What an incredible start to this game for Fort Lee. They are buzzing around the field as the Bridgemen already lead 1-0. And Caden Chan was trying to get ahead to it to try to double that advantage, as we're less than 5 minutes gone by. As that goal kick finds a header on it to the opposite side. As Tomas will handle this one and look to drop kick this one away. Tomas had 4 saves in that victory against Riverdale earlier on in the week. Headed backwards again, Creskill having a little difficulty initially trying to clear that ball out of their defensive side of the pitch. They get it up top now, trying to get it to Sean Seville. Seville, a senior, number 9 up top. There's some contact behind the play and a foul whistled against Jean-Paul Solano. Solano, number 10, he's the leading scorer for this Creskill side that Fort Lee's going to have to be aware of whenever number 10 is on the field, as he's now being warned by the official on the near side and probably going to warrant a yellow card next time, as he's been given a couple opportunities and that might be the final warning. So the foul will trigger a restart here and a free kick set up near midfield for Fort Lee, as Juno Kim, the senior, will start it off. Passing it over to the far side to Noah Lee. Creskill knocking it down. A beautiful evening here, a fall evening, as it was a nice day, a beautiful day in the 70s, and a comfortable evening here under the lights in Fort Lee. Glad that you could join us here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel, bringing you all the sights and sounds of the 2021 Bergen County Boys Soccer Tournament. Played over to the near side. Take it in. Nice job of that in Fort Lee, and that's then sent down the other way by Creskill. Alessandro Corazzolo, the sophomore, number 17, was weaving in and out of the middle of the field before that was jettisoned down the other way, out of bounds. Just about 5 minutes gone by here in the first half, and if you just joined us, you missed out on a goal. Already a goal scored by Timofey Strelly, the leading scorer for Fort Lee, getting the Bridgemen in the lead 1-0 after a misplay in the back line by Creskill led to the scoring opportunity, and Strelly deposited in the back of the net. As now Fort Lee triggering the restart, trying to send it down the near side. There was a push in the back against Creskill, as Caden Chan, number 9, was trying to get airborne with it. He was pushed in the square of the back, the second leading scorer on this team for Fort Lee, number 9. So now it's going to be another free kick handled by Juno Kim. Kim wearing that pink captain's armband. Fort Lee breaking out the brand new pink uniforms from the start of October play. To the near side. Taken in by Kino Shinoda. Fort Lee now scoring 15 goals on the season. They have given up 16 goals, so very balanced. They had been shut out in their 3 losses this season. Now they get an early goal, and they're trying to send Strelly down the other way as well. Here he is in the top of the box. Defense comes to him, knocked off the ball. Played over to the near side to Strelly again. A hard challenge, writhing in pain, a Fort Lee player on the deck. We play on, and now a whistle sounds. And that'll stop the clock with 33-13 left to go in the first half of play. It was a hard challenge, and so much so that a yellow card is going to be administered to Creskill. Incredulous on that play. Coming off the field, Jordan Wiesel, number 20. He picks up the yellow card, first yellow card of the game for either team. So a free kick upcoming now for Fort Lee, leading 1-0 here with 33-13 left to go in the first half of play. Strelly will now line it up as it's placed at around the 35-yard line. Here's the restart of play. As that one's sent in, headed forward by Creskill, just inside their own offensive box. Here's Strelly again. Great dribbling there by the senior. Then the whistle sounds by the official on the far side, and possession will go back to Creskill. 7 minutes gone by, and Fort Lee on top, 1-0. A rematch of the opening round of the 2019 county tournament. That was a 2-1 win that evening for Creskill. Fort Lee trying to enact revenge and pick up the win, which would be their first win in the county tournament since 2017. Fort Lee in 2017 won in the second round against Waldwick and eventually lost in the quarterfinal round to Glenrock. Bounce backwards, Fort Lee faking at that offering, and instead will let it just slowly meander its way out of bounds and go out for a goal kick. Creskill making a substitution as Tomas, the sophomore, about to kick it back into play for Fort Lee. Tomas in his silver. There's a little dangerous defending, leading to an opportunity, and Fort Lee with a sigh of relief there, get it past the encroaching offensive player. They send it down to the far side wing. Here's Creskill with a poke of it. A little bit of a confusion and a collision ensued. Everyone's okay for Fort Lee as that goes out of bounds for another upcoming goal kick. But Fort Lee very fortunate there as Tomas came off his line and actually collided with one of his defenders in front of the net. If Creskill had that service to an open player, they would have had a wide open net to shoot at after the collision, but Tomas quickly got back up as he'll set it up for another goal kick. Played into the midfield, Creskill settling it down. Solano, again, number 10, he's the focal point of this offense for Creskill that has put up the goals in bunches so far this season. Coming into tonight's game, 27 goals on the year in 8 games. That's 3.4 goals per contest. And they had only surrendered 9 goals prior to the opening salvo delivered by Strelly. So they are not used to giving up goals, but are instead used to scoring in bunches. Nice move there, but Creskill parries it straight back forward. As that's played out of bounds to the near side. Will be out of bounds off of Fort Lee, and will be a throw-in now for Solano and Creskill. He'll give it off to his teammate, as that'll be taken by Darren Ozen. Played all the way back, and again, coming out aggressively. We saw this in their game against Westwood in the last broadcast that I was fortunate to be on back on September 27th here at the Sugarman Sports Complex. And Tomas is a very aggressive goalie and is not going to just sit back in his net. He's going to run out and try to better his angles. Laid down here, the 1-2 to Oakley on the near side wing. Getting run underneath that. Creskill doing a good job of defending and boxing out the advance of Oakley, who is running down that near side flank and about to go out of bounds for a goal kick. As Lee will boot this one away. Played forward, Creskill with a man lurking behind the defense. chipping it forward to the top of the box, settled down by Fort Lee and cleared out to space. Here's Strelly again. Strelly tries the long ball for Chan. Chan trying to go at it. Good defending there by Creskill to skewer it away out of bounds to the near side. But a nice decision there by Strelly to try that long ball for Caden Chan. Chan, who's second on the team with 7 points this season. He's been active in the early goings as well. Oakley back to Strelly, back to Oakley. They tried that 1-2 again, but the connection fails. Solano trying to get a piece of it in the midfield. Down to the feet of Strelly, diagonal ball. It's a dangerous one, but a little too long for his teammate and allowing Lee to venture out of his net to secure that loose ball. Played forward, knocked down with a heel. Here's Strelly to the far side. He's the goal scorer in this game. 1-0 advantage right now in this game in the first half for the home side at Bridgman of Fort Lee High School. So glad that you could join us here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. As Tomas will settle it down, wait for an advancing player to force him to pick it up with his hands. Sent right back forward by Creskill. Good shoulder-to-shoulder defense by Fort Lee, but it's left down to Solano. Takes the ripper of a shot with his left foot as that goes a little too high and wide of the mark, as that'll go out for a goal kick. But the first prime scoring opportunity there for Creskill is Jean-Paul Solano, the senior, gave that a rip from distance and curled it just a little too wide of the mark. A miss hit there by Tomas. Cleaned up on the far side, swept away by the defense of Fort Lee. Strelly was looking for the diagonal to the near side for Alex Oakley, leaking out of the midfield. The ball finds Oakley to the near side. Number 7 in pink is dispossessed, though. Solano going with a long ball down the near side. Fort Lee doing a good job of defending against Jason Perhati. Perhati, number 2, on that near left side wing for Creskill. Solano, nice job there. You can see why he's one of the better players in North Jersey. But mishit out of bounds by his teammate. That'll go out of bounds for a throw-in right in front of the Fort Lee sideline. As Coach Demba Main has to love, obviously, that early goal for his team, less than 40 seconds into the game. Creskill has started to get their legs here a little bit after the opening 5 minutes were dominated by Fort Lee. Played back, and Goldie Lee has to do a full extension dive to make sure nothing is dangerous there inside his own box. 25.5 minutes left to go here in the first half of play. Dan Long, so glad he could join us. County tournament action. And despite Creskill being the higher seed, because they don't have the ability to host a game on a turf, this game was given to Fort Lee instead. Stolen away, Fort Lee with a turnover forced. Here's the long ball, but it's just a little too long, not allowing Strelly to run underneath it after Takamatsu had forced the turnover in midfield. Takamatsu was the man, number 12 in pink, who forced the turnover at the top of the box, and eventually it found it to the feet of Timofey Strelly. And Strelly was the one who capped off that opening shot with the opening goal of the game. Here's Strelly now. He has been impressive in the early going. Goals in back-to-back games now for Fort Lee. Here comes Creskill with a build-up. Taken away, spun away, nice move at the midfield. As that goes wide to the far side, and will be a quick restart and a throw-in here for Fort Lee. As Creskill popped it straight up in the air, though. That could have been potentially dangerous as it was landing to the feet of Strelly. And once again, Fort Lee playing the ball wide to the far side and earning a throw-in. Service into the box Knocked down into the midsection and cleared out over to the near side wing. Oakley, what a nice way of dribbling as the defender flew past him. Tried to throw that one and serve it inside the box, but nobody lurking on the other end of that delivery, as Lee, the goalie, will take care of it. Played back to the near side, try to make the turn on it, but good defending there. And Sean Seville, number 9, was trying to turn on the Fort Lee defender. Again, aggressive play there in the defensive end of the field for Fort Lee. Leads to the counterattack the other way. Chan running underneath it, keeping in play to the near sideline. Stepping in front, though, good defending by Creskill, and eventually it's pounced on and kept out of bounds by Jeffrey Kwan, number 12. Kwan and Chan have been going toe-to-toe in the early moments of this first half, as Coach Main goes to his bench for a substitution here. With 22:40 left to go in our first half of play. An exciting start to this game, to say the least. Not a lot of scoring chances so far. Solano trying to change that. Plays it up to the near side. Tried to get it to Seville. But again, a little too long for him, as that will go back to Tomas, who will settle things down, get his team back, and try to serve the ball up the field. So they're going to say that there was a foul behind the play. They're playing advantage, so it's going to be a free kick upcoming here just inside the 40-yard line for Creskill, as they're trying to find that equalizing goal, as we're coming up on 20 minutes left to go in the first half. Headed forward. Creskill, once again, just knocking it right into the defender in front. And there's another late whistle, and it looks like it's going to be a tug of the jersey and a foul whistled against Fort Lee. It's going to be another free kick for Creskill, this time on the far side wing. As they'll set it up this time from the 35-yard line. Headed forward. That one is kind of bicycle kicked backwards by the defense of Oakley, who was coming back to defend there for Fort Lee. Not forcing Tomas to have to make a save on that play. Good job by Alex Oakley to come back and play deep in his own defensive end. As Darren Ozen, the senior, number 24, restarted the play, he'll once again be the man to throw this one back into play. 1-0, the lead for Fort Lee. The winner will advance to play Don Bosco Prep in the second round of the Bergen County Tournament. Here's Chan to the far side. Starting and stopping the defender, falling down, and there seems to be a whistle, and it's going to be a foul against Fort Lee and Caden Chan. See the official on the far side deeming that Chan's contact there forced the defender to fall down to the turf, and thus needed to stop the advance up the field for Fort Lee. Creskill just booting that one out of bounds to the far side. So it's going to be a throw-in now for Fort Lee, as we've reached the halfway point of this first half of play. 20 minutes left to go. Timofey Strelli's goal in the first minute is the difference so far in this game. A 1-0 lead for the Fort Lee Bridgemen. 6-3 on the season. Representing the Big North Conference, Creskill in white, 7-1 on the season. Winners of 6 in a row coming into tonight's game, representing the NJIC. Laid up top, but stepping on top of the ball and losing his balance there briefly was Fort Lee. Everyone seems to be okay there. As Koyohashi was the man in the midfield, number 19, who stepped on the ball there, lost his balance briefly. Hashi is normally wearing number 30 again with these special uniforms. A couple of players having different numbers here this evening. Number 19 is Koyohashi, the senior. Leads the team with 4 assists on the season as that goes out of bounds. Played up top. Taken away by Creskill, then played to the midfield, just in front of the FL logo. Chasing after it and pushing it out of bounds safely to the near side was Jem Shimizu, number 2, the senior defender for Fort Lee. Hashi trying to win back possession and does. He sends the long ball, sending Strelly down the other way. And that's some aggressive goaltending there for Creskill, as Jacob Lee coming all the way out knowing who was trying to run after that loose ball. Knocked it out of play to the near side wing. It'll be a throw in here for Oakley, as Oakley will try to win back the possession after getting that knocked out of play. As Fort Lee continues to make its way down the field here into the offensive end. Not a lot of shot opportunities so far in this first half for both teams, especially after that opening goal. Here's a shot opportunity, and that would have been up and good for a field goal attempt, as that went over the crossbar of the football uprights, but a little too high of the goal mark here. That'll go out for an ensuing goal kick. Outside of that Strelly goal, not a lot of shot opportunities certainly on target as well for both teams. Had some shot opportunities like we just saw a moment ago for Fort Lee, as well as a couple of chances for Creskill that have been well wide of the net. Goalies have not been forced to make a save so far here in the first half. As that curls over to the near side, Hashi could not get underneath it. Here's Solano dropping it off to the near side. Creskill with the build-up here offensively, and there's Tomas punching it away as it was curling out in front of him on a centering feed from the near side from Jason Perhati. Beautiful service running with it down that near side flank by Perhati, and Tomas not taking any chances, punching it away with one hand. Strelly colliding a bit. Left the ball behind. Now the ball finds Strelly this time, and he's looking to break out himself down the near sideline. Curls that one to the middle of the field and bounced past the defender, but in the process also bounced past Caden Chan. Chan, it was that man they were trying to free up in the middle of the field after that beautiful run to catch up the ball by Strelly. He has been all over the field and unmarkable right now in this first half for Fort Lee. Good, savvy defending right now by Fort Lee, as the Bridgemen not allowing any possession in the midfield for Creskill. Koyohashi. Hashi continues to make his advance up the field to the top of the box, left off to the near side to Strelly, just outside the box, curls it inside, deflected, and cleared out, but not out of harm's way yet. Oakley tried to let off a left-footed shot, as that's skewered out of bounds to the near side by Fort Lee. Nice back and forth action as we have a whistle, and it looks like substitutions are going to be made here for Creskill with 14:34 and counting left to go until halftime. 1-0 advantage for Fort Lee. The Bridgemen scoring courtesy of a goal by Timofey Strelly in the first minute. But events will just boot that down the other way, and Fort Lee will get ahead on it, but clear it out of bounds to the near side. So now into the offensive side of the field comes Creskill with a throw-in. Nazin getting ready to send it back in. Brahati tried to head that one forward, headed it more to the side. Solano tries to pass it over to the far side. Ball is loose. Fort Lee was a little hesitant of whether or not to come up and play that ball or sit back a little more conservatively in the defensive end. And eventually they just clear it out of bounds to the near side. Creskill looking for another opportunity. They had a nice build-up a couple of moments ago on a centering pass, but no clean shot yet on target against Benjamin Tamas. Oakley will send it back into play. Ashi getting ahead on it. To the near side. Brahati doing a good job of getting away from Oakley, who was poking and prodding the whole time, trying to win back possession. Long ball down the other way. Strelly gets ahead on it. Creskill with the defensive numbers, but despite having the numbers advantage, elect to just clear it out of bounds to the near side. As Cameron Raymond was the man who just cleared it out. It was Hashi leaving it off for Strelly, and that is deflected. Last touch off of Creskill, so that's going to go out of bounds for a hard-earned corner kick now for Fort Lee. Hashi did a great job of leaving that one off for Strelly, and Strelly was trying to one-time that on target and immediately had his leg and the ball clipped out of bounds by Creskill, and that's going to lead to the corner taken to the near side by Fort Lee with just over 11 and a half minutes left to go before halftime. 1-0 the advantage for Fort Lee. They'll handle the corner on the near side, look for another recipient. It pinballs around inside, still loose, not out of the defensive zone yet for Creskill. And now the Cougars get to it and clear it out to space. It was dangerous for a couple of moments, and now Creskill looking for a counter of their own. And Tomas coming all the way out to cut down the angle, and then he'll scoop it up and also writhe in pain a little bit as the clock will stop with the injury on the field as Benjamin Tomas, the goalie, the sophomore for Fort Lee, a little shaken up. He seems to be okay as the referees stop the clock to check in on him, as they'll be restarting play here. Again, Tomas was anticipating where Creskill was trying to have one player just run down. It looked like it was Sean Seville, and he looked like he might have a step on the last defender. Tomas didn't want to take any chances, ventured all the way out to again aggressively play the angle, then got in the midst of a bit of a collision and for a brief moment was down on the turf. But he's okay, and we resume play as he'll send this one away to midfield. Knocked down with the back heel. Up to the midfield, taken in, though, by Juno Kim, as Kim will play it up to Chan. Chan makes the turn. Here's the speed there by Caden Chan. He's bodied off the ball, though. Great defending by Creskill, as Chan had a full speed in front of him. Could not make that last defender miss. Hashi has numbers to the near side if he wanted them. Hashi takes the shot and scores! What a wonder goal for Fort Lee and Koyo Hashi! Instead of being the normal facilitator and looking to get the assist, instead he moved it from his right to his left foot, curled it inside that far post, and Koyo Hashi with his first goal of the season has doubled the lead for Fort Lee here tonight at home to 2-0 with 10:20 left to go in the first half of play. What a wonder goal there for Hashi. The accuracy on going to that far post with the left foot, and Koyo Hashi, the senior, has added to that lead for Fort Lee. It's now 2-0 as we come up on the final 10 minutes of the first half of play here in the opening game of this 2021 Bergen County tournament between these two sides. The winner will advance to play over the weekend against Don Bosco Prep on Sunday afternoon in Ramsey. Fort Lee looking for their first win in the county tournament since 2017. On top by 2. And a quick goal by Strelly 40 seconds into the game, and now a beautiful goal from distance by Koyohashi. And Creskill with some adversity here, and now a stoppage as it looks like it's going to be a potential yellow card upcoming for Fort Lee. And that will be the case, as it looks like Caden Chan will be sent off the field with that yellow card. Persistent fouling on the play, and that'll be the first Bridgman to get a yellow card here this evening. Just thinking back again to that goal, fans, that was just marvelous by Hashi, who had assists in 4 straight games earlier this season and then finds the back of the net there on a left-footed shot that just kept on curling and finding its way. It had eyes on it into the back left corner of the net. Now Creskill, a team that has been red hot this season, coming into tonight's game on the road here, 6 consecutive victories on the year. Their last loss coming back on September 13th against Emerson, the team in first place in the NJIC Patriot Division. But they're up against it right now, surrendering 2 first-half goals to a Fort Lee side that is playing very confident soccer of late. And a team that knows how to hold on defensively, as they have produced a couple of shutouts so far this season, including in their last game. The whistle sounds. Is it going to be a foul? It is against Fort Lee. The Bridgmen thought that they were going to have that quick restart, but the foul was against the Bridgmen. So free kick upcoming now for Creskill with the ball lined up at the Fort Lee 40-yard line in the defensive side of the field as we come up on 8 minutes left to go in the first half. Played to the near side and popped out of play into the stands here at the Sugarman Sports Complex. Glad that you could join us. Dan Long, Dimitri Nanis, Maria Giannatasio, and we thank you for your support of the student athletes from both schools. There's a chip opportunity for Creskill, but again, off the mark to the far side. The times that Tomas has ventured out to try to make a play on it, just been a case of more his aggressive style as a goalie. Nothing cleanly shot on him and on target so far in this first half. That's a credit to Coach Demba Main's defense, really limiting the scoring opportunities for this high-scoring Creskill team that, again, coming into tonight's game, 27 goals on the season for Coach Tim Serby. Up top, Preston Kaplan, number 21, the junior, who's come into the game. And there's an opportunity as Tomas coming in. And now Solano being warned again, as that was a potential high boot there coming in on the goalie who was out to make the play. Had plenty of room and time to do that. Good sportsmanship displayed there by Solano. Checking in to see if his goalie counterpart is okay. Beautiful strike right there on the pass on a rope. Strelly initially got it, played it wide. That pass just a little too short though. Played up by Creskill. Coming up on 6 minutes remaining here in the first half. Up top there, Solano, and the first save. And then the follow-up deflection by the defense. Shimizu doing a good job of the trail defending, cutting in And cutting up on that follow-up rebound shot attempt after that initial save was made by Tomas on the shot attempt by Jean-Paul Solano. So the first big save of the evening for the sophomore goalie for Fort Lee. In the all gray as that now lines up as a throw-in and deep in the offensive end, and that's shipped right into the gloves, waiting on the near post for Tomas. And it looks to be an injured player behind the play for Fort Lee, as they'll slowly make their way off the pitch to the far sideline. So the best couple of offensive opportunities in this first half in the last couple of moments for Creskill. As Jean-Paul Solano won a race to the ball, got the shot off in time. A bad angle attempt, but still tested Tomas. And then it led to a juicy rebound that cratered off to the near side. And great defending there. Shimizu, Jen Shimizu, the senior, number 2 in pink, came back and got in front of that shot attempt and had to carry him out of bounds rather than another shot on goal. Tomas playing it over to the far side as that'll go out of bounds and will be a throw-in now for Creskill. The Cougars starting to pick up the course of play. They know that time is still on their side here as they'll have a full second half awaiting them, but they got to get more aggressive here. And there's that aggression paying off with a goal. And who else but their catalyst on offense, Jean-Paul Solano. On the far side, just quickly turned and fired and found the back of the net for his first goal of the game. And Fort Lee gives up a late goal here late in the first half with 4:45 remaining before halftime. So the lead has been cut in half, and it's now 2-1 advantage for Fort Lee. As Solano, the dynamo offensively for Creskill, gets his cohorts on the board. The Cougars have been the more energized team of late. Now they play that down the near side, centering ball over to the near side as Dylan Costa was the recipient of a beautiful pass up front by Solano. Solano is trying to take over this game himself. Fort Lee has to keep him in check. He is the focal point of this Creskill offense. Now played to the far side. And Creskill winning now those 50-50 opportunities. A little more pep in their step after scoring that goal. Again, Jean-Paul Solano, the senior, number 10, scoring the goal to get Creskill on the board here late in the first half. They trail Fort Lee by a score of 2-1 as you're watching all the action under the lights here in Bergen County as part of the 2021 Bergen County Boys Soccer Tournament. Long ball sent down the other way, and it headed back to the keeper. As Jeffrey Kwan played it back to Jacob Lee. Play down the near side wing. Nobody there, though, for Fort Lee. As that'll go out of bounds for a throw-in as we come up on the final 3 minutes of the first half of play. There's a good contingent of fans who have made the trip from Creskill cheering on the Cougars after that foul was whistled against Fort Lee. Wiesel sending that service in and deflected over to the far side as Fort Lee struggling a little bit to try to settle down defensively. Not cleanly getting to that ball and clearing it out. Said it's going to be a throw-in for Creskill. Dangerous challenge there for Fort Lee. We play on. Hashi trying to get to it. Koyo Hashi's goal is the deciding one right now. Strelly, this man, had the opening goal of the game. He runs down the near side, weathers the contact in the box, falls down, and now continue on. It's going to be a whistle sounding. And is this going to be a penalty kick? So the whistle sounds, they stop play. Is it a penalty kick right now? As the officials are talking with one another, Strelly was contacted in the box, got a shoulder and then was trying to curl around, and it looks like got contacted in the box again. So right now it's going to be a penalty kick awarded to Fort Lee. So a big turn of events here. A chance for Fort Lee to recapture the 2-goal advantage here late in the first half. A penalty kick being awarded to Timofey Strelli. Strelli, who has 1 goal today, 8 on the season. Line this one up as Lee waits in his net. A big moment in this game, a 2-1 advantage for Fort Lee. Here's the penalty kick. Strelli rockets that one into the back of the net, and Fort Lee responds with their 3rd goal of the first half. A PK finish for Timofey Strelli, who is taken down in the box. And now Creskill once again has fallen behind by 2 goals here on the road against Fort Lee. So Strelli scores in the first minute of this first half, and now scores with 2:01 remaining in the second portion of this first half. And Fort Lee has produced 3 goals in the first half of play here in this county tournament game. After Strelli had made his way down the near side into the penalty box, he was shoulder down, drew the contact in the box, and then capped it off with a penalty kick finish for Strelli, his 9th goal of the season. There's a long-distance shot that was handled on a hop and then was secured down by Benjamin Tomas. As we approach the final 90 seconds of the first half, Strelli's 2 goals, along with the goal by Koyohashi, has given Fort Lee a 3-1 lead here in the county tournament game against Creskill. As that's knocked out of play, last touch off of Fort Lee, so it's going to be a throw-in for Creskill as we come up on the final minute of the first half of play. 4 goals in the first 40 minutes. Back and forth action as we have seen a couple of goals here in the final 5 minutes of the first half of play. Didn't have to wait long for the first goal of the game. Again, 36 seconds, it's all it took for Strelli to get Fort Lee on the board. They have led 2-0. Jean-Paul Solano had a brilliant goal in the far side wing that cut that deficit in half to 2-1. But then Timofey Strelli drew a foul in the box and earned a PK, which he booted home for the easy fire and finish. And once again, Fort Lee leads by 2, this time at 3-1. With 16 seconds left to go, Hashi trying to send Strelli off to the near side. Strelli looking for the hat trick. Takes the shot with the left foot and scores! Unbelievable! Fort Lee's Timofey Strelli, a first half hat trick. Beats the clock with 7.7 seconds left to go after Hashi won the ball at the midfield, got it up to number 11, who switched it over to his left foot, and he fired it home for his 3rd goal of the half. Oh, a back-breaking finish there for Fort Lee, as now Creskill has surrendered 2 goals in the final 2.5 minutes of the first half of play. And it's now a 4-1 lead for Fort Lee. Creskill will restart play. Here's Solano near midfield. Will he try to get one final shot off in time? He gets the shot, but it's deflected away by Hashi. But the best half of play so far this season for the Bridgemen of Fort Lee. They have produced 4 goals in the first 40 minutes of action, 3 of which courtesy of Timofey Strelli, who scores his 8th, 9th, and 10th goals of the season to stake the Bridgemen out to an impressive 4-1 advantage here as we head to halftime. So stick around. We'll come back after the 10-minute break to bring you all the action to start the second half of play as Fort Lee leads Creskill 4-1 as you're watching all the action here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel here this season. So as we're close to resuming the course of play and the start of the second half, some adjustments having to be made by Creskill. The Cougars coming into this game, fans, had allowed 9 total goals defensively through their first 8 games of the season. They've been bested 4 times by Fort Lee here in this first half alone, as the Bridgemen have taken a commanding 4-1 advantage with them into the start of this second half of play. Again, goals by Timofey Strelli, scoring 3 goals in that first half for Fort Lee, along with a brilliant finish by Koyohashi. Strelli scoring less than 40 seconds into the start of the game to give Fort Lee a 1-0 advantage. Koyohashi would double that advantage to 2-0 on a beautiful left-footed finish. Jean-Paul Solano would score a goal for Creskill to get the Cougars on the board. But then Fort Lee would come back late in that first half of play. Timofey Strelli would be dragged down in the box and would draw the contact that would give him a penalty kick. He would finish it off with a blast to the left side or right side of the net. That gave Fort Lee a 3-1 advantage, and you kind of thought that's what it was going to be heading into halftime. But don't go anywhere, fans, as Fort Lee scored in the first minute and also in the 40th minute, thanks in part to a incredible finish by Timofey Strelli, being the buzzer with 7 seconds left to go in the first half. And it was all Bridgemen, scoring 4 goals in that first half of play. Fort Lee had scored 14 goals in their first 9 games, putting up 4 goals in the first 40 minutes to take a commanding 4-1 advantage. They are 40 minutes away from punching their ticket to the second round of the conference tournament. Again, Don Bosco Prep awaits the winner of today's contest in the next round of the Bergen County Soccer Tournament. As we're underway to start the second half of play, Fort Lee in their home pink uniforms in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month here in the month of October. Creskill in their road white uniforms. As there immediately is going to be a corner kick earned by Fort Lee, forcing the defense of Creskill to come back and kick that one over the end line for this upcoming corner kick that looked like Hashi initially was going to be running over to take care of. But it's going to be another Fort Lee Bridgeman to handle this for Coach Demba Main. First minute of the second half, and again, that's going to be headed out of bounds by Creskill. It will be another corner now taken by Fort Lee. The 4 goals in the first half now has given Fort Lee their most goals in a single game so far this season. They're looking for more. Creskill playing it forward. Now here's a dangerous opportunity for Creskill, and outstanding defending there by Fort Lee. Sending it over to the near side as it was just a foot race and trying to make it 1v1 against the keeper. That time, Jude Choi, number 5, the senior, did the great defending there, sliding and kicking it out of play all in one fell swoop. The previous season high was 3 goals in 3 different games for Fort Lee this season, scoring all 4 in the first 40 minutes. An offensive explosion here under the lights at the Dr. Allen W. Sugarman Sports Complex. So glad that you could join us here on YouTube. Creskill with a restart. Ozin was not even aware of the kick had been taken. Had to turn around after his teammate quickly restarted play as Cameron Raymond sent it down the other way. Here's Raymond again trying to set it over to the far sideline. Creskill can't keep it in play. That'll go out of bounds for a Fort Lee throw-in. Hashi tried to split the double team, but could not. It's played over to the near side. Late challenge there, upends Creskill. Ball secured in possession, won by Fort Lee. Take it to the near side. That time deflected out of bounds. Last touch off of Creskill as Samuel Choi, the freshman, working with it to the near side. Choi, the senior. And there's a late whistle, and the contact is called against Creskill. So now it's going to be the free kick upcoming for Fort Lee. And you have the sense that if Fort Lee could find their way to a 5th goal, that might be the knockout blow if it hasn't been delivered already in this game. Plenty of time for Creskill to get back in the thick of things. But facing a potential 4-goal deficit in the early stages of a second half is going to be very tough to climb out of. Koyohashi will set it up from 25 yards out. Left-footed delivery deflects off of the 3-man wall in front of him. Caroms out to the far side, poked out of bounds by Creskill. So good defending there by the Cougars. And it looks like a substitution being made here by Fort Lee. Getting some fresh legs onto the field right now, as it looks like Koyohashi coming off for the time being. As that's knocked out of play, it's now going to be possession for Creskill. Jean-Paul Solano, who's the focal point of this Creskill Cougars offense, accounting for the lone goal in this game for the visitors. His goal made it a 2-1 game at that point. On it, 2 unanswered goals, though, by the Bridgemen. A penalty kick and then a brilliant finish at the end of the first half, both by Timofey Strelli, extended the Bridgemen lead. And there's a foul whistled against Creskill as things start to get a little more physical here at the beginning stages of this second half, as we're 5 minutes gone by here at the Sugarman Sports Complex. Fort Lee trying to win back-to-back games on the season after they had fallen in their previous 2 games to Westwood and Ramsey, shut out in both games. But that big win earlier this week on the road at Oradell has revitalized this team, and they have definitely shaken off those scoreless droughts by producing 4 goals in the first half here tonight. The top of the box, here's a shot on the run! A one-timer attempt for Samuel Choi, as Choi was giving it a ride. Not wasting any time to get that one off and try to send Fort Lee to their 5th goal of the contest. Sent forward by Creskill. Headed straight up in the air, though, by Choi and Fort Lee. Solano trying to win back possession. A little out of control here. Solano has been a wrecking ball of sorts. He's been bouncing around. As the official looking at him, and he's lucky not to be given a card right now. Again, he was playing like a bull in the china shop. That he was just with reckless abandon going to try to possess and go for that ball. Solano has to be careful. Chipped over to the near side. As that goes out of play, last touch off of Sean Seville. Samuel Choi once again will throw it in for Fort Lee. Fort Lee 2-2 this season here at home. Coming off back-to-back losses, looking for their first win at home since September 25th. They're playing their best game of the season by far. Here's a shot from outside, and Strelli was looking for goal number 4 on the night. He is not robbed of his shooting opportunities, as Strelli has a lot of zip on all of his shots, and that one did not miss by much. as he was trying to aim for the upper left-hand corner on that shot attempt. Strelly with a first half hat trick now has given him a team-leading 10 goals on the season. Knocked down to the midfield, sent forward by Caradazzolo. Sent over to the far side wing to Oakley. Taken away, but sent right back into the midfield of Fort Lee. Shinoda trying to get it over to the far side. Fort Lee kind of stepping in front of their own teammate there. Ball's loose up top, and now a whistle sounds, and it's going to be a foul whistled against Fort Lee. So an opportunity here for Creskill. It's going to be a free kick now for the Cougars as they'll set it up from 30 yards away. Played quickly over to the near side here. Solano wasn't marked initially. He goes with his service to the far side post. Nobody there. And a big challenge, and Samuel Choi might have gotten a piece of number 2, Jason Perhati, a little too late. And now a couple players being pushed away from each other. Things starting to get a little tense now, as you could tell that both teams well aware what's on the line in this one. This is not just a simple regular season contest, as the yellow card will be shown to Samuel Choi. So a late show of a yellow card there. That'll stop the clock with 30:25 left to go here in the second half, as Choi will have to come off the field. So the free kick is now going to be set up inside the 20-yard line, as Creskill trying to pull back to within 2 goals here. They trail 4-1. Who will take the free kick for the Cougars as they have 2 players lined up? They'll quickly play it over to the near side, back up top at the edge of the box, swing it around. There's a shot, and an amazing save by Fort Lee. Tomas making the save, ranging over to his far side post for a shot that was destined to go in for a goal. And Fort Lee keeps the Cougars off the board there on an enormous save with now 10 minutes gone by in the second half of play. That was a nice build-up by Creskill. They had a couple of passes led to a shot from atop the box, and that one seemed to be destined for the far left corner. But Tomas ranged over, full extension, got a piece of it with his hand to keep it from outside the net. His biggest save of the night to keep this a 4-1 advantage for Fort Lee. Now a free kick just over midfield for the Bridgemen. This has been a very entertaining game, as Fort Lee is looking to win their first game of the Bergen County Soccer Tournament since 2017. Here's a long ball served into the box, headed down by Fort Lee, getting a poke of it, but no real velocity to speak of on the other end of that one. When Fort Lee won that game in 2017, they bested one of the rivals of Creskill and Patriot Division rival, Waldwick. Fort Lee defeated Waldwick 2-0 and then would lose 3-2 to Glenrock in the quarterfinal round of the 2017 county tournament. Played over to the near side. Now a whistle, and the clock will stop with 28:29 left to go, as it looks like there's a Bridgman injured on the play and is being stretched out a bit, and we'll see if the training staff will go out to attend to him. As Fort Lee looking for their 7th win in their 10th game of the season. They're 6-3 on the year, as Creskill enters into today's game already with 7 wins in 8 games, 7-1. As the training staff will go out to attend to the Fort Lee player injured on the turf. 28-29 left to go here in the second half of play. Fort Lee still in control, 4-1. They scored 4 goals, all of which coming in the first half of play. So after the injury stoppage, we'll resume play here. Free kick upcoming now for Creskill. They'll send it down into the box, headed forward by Fort Lee. Once again, defending out of their own end goes Fort Lee, heading that one forward. Long ball down the far side. There's Strelly playing a 1-2 with Oakley. Dazzling play, but the offside flag is up on the far side. How did Strelly get to that initial one? Kind of did like a back heel to Oakley, and Oakley immediately got it right back to his teammate. Played to the far side. Right in front of head coach Demba Main, who's holding on to the soccer ball right now. In the orange vests with a white undershirt underneath. Distinctive look for Coach Main, as he generally wears on game day. As that time, it's going to be possession now going back to Creskill. The Cougars went 9-2 overall last season and lost to Waldwick in the Northeast A Group 1A semifinals. And this Creskill side, no strangers to success as well in 2019, went 18-4-1 overall and lost in penalty kicks once again to Waldwick in the North 1 Group 1 sectional final. This is a program that has sustained success and a little pushing and shoving going on between players as well. And a little words exchange afterwards. As again, you could tell that things are getting tenser and tenser and more physical. A throw in here. As Dartley was getting kind of pushed in behind, he was the man who was having some words as well throughout the course of play. Solano with the high kick. Takes down the ball, backs up the defenders. Can't split the double team though, but a late whistle and a late foul with the challenge whistled against Fort Lee. So Solano was looking incredulously to the referee to the near side. Thought he had done enough to draw the contact, and he did. So now here's the restart for Creskill. Sending that one deep into the box again. Tomas coming well out of his goal. Had to quickly get back in after that had ricocheted around. And eventually that's deflected off of Creskill and out of bounds as we come up on 25 minutes remaining here in the second half of play. As Fort Lee makes a substitution again. The Bridgemen went 6-4 last season, winning 4 of their last 5 games in 2020. In 2019, they went 8-1, lost in the first round of the North 2 Group 2 sectional playoffs against Caldwell. So they've already match the win total from a season ago. Trying to surpass that here in their 10th game this season, when they only played 10 games all of last season. Trying to go to 7-3 in their first 10 games and win a county playoff game. Solano looking to trigger a comeback here. He's taken down the edge of the box. Is it going to be ruled inside the box as they'll stop the clock with 24-23 left? Is this going to be a penalty kick opportunity, or they're going to say just outside the yellow? So Solano has been adept at drawing the contact against some of these Fort Lee defenders, as it looks like a yellow card has been administered, and Fort Lee's going to have to make a substitution, as the Bridgemen will have to take the long walk to the far side to bring a new defender onto the field. As Juno Kim, number 3, looks to be the recipient of the yellow card. So again, dangerously close to a penalty kick for Creskill. They'll take it just outside the box. They'll chip it to that far post. A collision ensues, and that caroms up and over the back of the net. And they're going to say that it went out of bounds for a goal kick, as Creskill was trying to convince the official that it was last touch off of Fort Lee and should be a corner kick. Instead, the right call was made, and now it's going to be an ensuing goal kick taken by Tomas. Tomas does not really have a lot of distance on his goal kicks. That's why he's having a defender handle that duty right now. We've had a couple of anxious moments between these two sides here in the second half, but still no goals to speak of. Strelly will race after it to the far side. Strelly with a hat trick in the first half of play. Now gets to the top of the box, dribbling up. Collides with a defender who's down behind the play. We play on. Comes out to midfield. Creskill trying to win back possession. A lot of contact, and again, no whistle. Referee's letting them play. Here comes Fort Lee with a man racing down the near side was Samuel Choi, the freshman. Was not marked, but they could not get to him in time. To the far side it goes, stepping up now. Curling ball. Tried to be handled to the near side. Fort Lee will race after it. A hard challenge and a clean one at that for Creskill. They'll knock it out of bounds. But it'll be possession here for Fort Lee. .22:45 left to go in regulation. 4-1 commanding lead, and a corner kick now upcoming for the Bridgemen of Fort Lee. They'll take it from the near side corner. Trying to get a header on it. They did. Fort Lee's trying to say that it was deflected off of Creskill, but just like we saw on the other side, the referee's not to be fooled by that politicking, and they say last touch off of Fort Lee. It'll go out for a goal kick. Dangerous there, as that was nearly taken in immediately by Fort Lee. As Naoki Dartley, number 18, was nearly the recipient of an early Christmas present. Tomas double fist that one. Punches it out to space. Creskill still with possession, and there's the whistle, as it will be a foul against Fort Lee. So again, both teams much more physical here in the second half of this game. And Creskill has been adept at drawing the contact and setting up these free kick opportunities. Can they score on a set piece? As we're coming up on just over 21 minutes left to go in the second half. Fort Lee led 4-1 at halftime. It still remains 3-goal margin. Tomas telling his wall where to go. A 3-man wall set up here. As Creskill with Solano set to take this set piece. He'll curl that one, and Tomas makes the save. Ricochets off the crossbar. Falls out to space on the far side, and it's cleared out of harm's way. Creskill inches away from tucking that one in for their second goal of the game. But Tomas got a piece of it. Then it hit off of the ricochet. Off the ricochet, it hit off the crossbar. and got a good bounce on it to the far side so Fort Lee could clear it away. Creskill getting closer and closer for a much-needed second goal, turning and firing and not being able to get any velocity on that one. So Fort Lee will breathe a huge sigh of relief as they look to clear it up the field, as we're coming up on the halfway point of this second half of play. In 2019, Creskill, as we had mentioned, had defeated Fort Lee 2-1 in the opening rounds of the Bergen County tournament. They then lost to eventual county champion Bergen Catholic 3-0 in the second round. And before that, in 2017, Creskill had lost to Pascack Hills in their lone county tournament appearance game. So they're just putting some more time on the clock. "20 minutes being put on the clock here, as Fort Lee a little slow with their substitutions to the referee's liking. Little time wasting going on by the Bridgemen. Playing it up top, Seville over to the near side. Runner coming right down Broadway and headed out of harm by Fort Lee, but they do surrender a corner kick in the process. So Creskill will handle the corner kick to the near side. Time is of the essence. The Cougars trailing by 3 with under 20 minutes left to go here in the second half. That one goes all the way out to the middle of the box. No shot opportunity yet, though, for Creskill. Cougars trying to jump on it to the far side. They play it wide. Fort Lee has been solid in their defending. Oakley was trying to get it out of the way. There he is on that far sideline, but he's dispossessed right in front of the Creskill bench. A late challenge there by Oakley. And a whistle sounds, as that will be a yellow card given to Oakley. He will be sent off here momentarily. We'll have to be on the side, and now another substitute will have to come in for Coach Demba Main. So we have seen plenty of cards being administered here in the second half, as Fort Lee has to decide who's going to be coming into this game now, as Alex Oakley will take a seat for the time being. Creskill restarts, still with the numbers advantage. A late substitute coming onto the field for Coach Main. So for the time being, Fort Lee was playing with only 10 men. Creskill could not take advantage after that restart, as that'll go out of play and will be a goal kick upcoming and taken by a defender for Fort Lee. Dan Long, so glad that he could join us for this hotly contested first round game of the 2021 Bergen County Boys Soccer Tournament. Fort Lee trying to pull the upset here and advance to the second round. They produced a season-high 4 goals all in the first 40 minutes. And here's a shot opportunity, but the offside flag is up by the official on the far side. That would take what would have been goal number 5 off the board for the Bridgemen. Just inches away from a knockout punch. So Creskill still in the thick of things here, but they still have plenty of work to do, down by 3. 4-1 lead for Fort Lee. Both teams have produced a couple of good opportunities scoring-wise here in the second half, but have produced more yellows and fouls than in the first half, to say the least. Things have gotten chippy and physical here, as you would expect in this game as part of the Bergen County tournament. Knocked out of play will be a throw-in now for Fort Lee on the far side. If Fort Lee is victorious here tonight, they will go on to play on Sunday afternoon at Don Bosco Prep. As that long ball is off the mark, still stays in play, though, down that far sideline. It's going to force Fort Lee to clear it out of bounds to the far side wing. It will be a throw-in now for Creskill. So Creskill getting a nice roll on the carpet here. Loose in the top of the box. Fort Lee pounces on it, sends it down the other way. Pressure being displayed there and forcing Creskill to knock it out of play, but a nice catch by one of the fans in attendance. A nice crowd coming out here on a comfortable Thursday evening under the lights at the Sugarman Sports Complex. And through the oohs and ahs and the support and the applause from the fellow patrons here, a fan who made the catch as that one was sent out into the stands. After Naoki Dartley had done a great job, the sophomore, on a full sprint to pressure the defender to make that play. So we restart play. It's going to be a throw-in. 16-15 and counting left to go here in the second half of play. No scoring in this second half after 5 combined goals between the two teams in the first 40 minutes. Seville sends that one down the other way, and Tomas once again coming out well outside his goal to use his hands to make that play. Send forward. Strelly looking for goal number 4, and he's got it! 4 goals this evening for Timofey Strelly. And that might be your knockout punch. 5-1 lead for Fort Lee with 15:27 left to go in the game. Strelly entered tonight's game with 7 goals on the season through the first 9 games of the year for Fort Lee. That is an impressive number, to say the least. Made even more impressive with 4 goals scored here today in the county tournament. As again, tempers starting to flare a bit, frustration setting in. As yellow cards being administered. And the clock stopped with 15:24 left to go here in the second half of play. Timofey Strelly scoring a goal in the first minute, a penalty kick late in the second half, a goal in the 40th minute, just 7 seconds left in the first half, and now a goal here as we come up on the final 15 minutes of the game. Here's a shot from distance, and that just went high of the mark, up and over the crossbar. And ball whistled against Fort Lee. Here's the quick restart for Creskill, who's in danger of suffering their only second loss of the season. Creskill 7-1 coming into tonight's action. Their last loss came against Emerson in a 1-0 defeat against one of their rivals in the NJIC Patriot Division. But since then, Creskill has defeated Waldwick, Park Ridge, Dumont, Hawthorne Christian, Pagoda, and Palisades Park heading into tonight's game here at Fort Lee. And they have not surrendered more than 3 goals in a single game this season until tonight. As Fort Lee has been playing a solid game here this evening. Damas setting it forward. Taken into the midfield. Again, Creskill's got to push forward much more so. Has got a little more time wasting here as Creskill getting frustrated at how Fort Lee is doing those little things that winning soccer teams do. It's got to be finding a way a couple times for an extra couple seconds. It makes a difference. Maybe not so much in a 4-goal spread of a game, but it's those things that you see done at all levels of soccer. But for a team like Creskill that has been averaging over 3 goals a game on offense, I think overall they just have to be frustrated that they've been held to only 1 goal here this evening. Late challenge there in the midfield, and now a whistle sounds, and it's going to be a foul charged against Creskill. And a free kick upcoming for the Bridgemen here just shy of midfield. What you just hope for here in this game, that's really the result has been decided already with a 5-1 lead for Fort Lee coming up on the final 12.5 minutes of play. You just want cooler heads to prevail here and nothing to get out of hand for both sides, being a little too physical with the pushing and shoving after the plays. We missed this from a season ago. No county tournament in that reduced 2020 season. There were sectional tournaments later on in the year. Again, Creskill qualified for theirs and lost to Waldwick later on in the Northeast A Group 1A semifinals. After a great season a season ago where Creskill went 9-2. Played over to the far side. There's a challenge and a late one of that. Is it going to be deemed inside the box? If so, that's going to be a penalty kick upcoming. With 11:37 left to go here in the second half. A risky challenge for Fort Lee. A yellow card has been administered. And that will become a red card. So the Creskill player is still down and will be attended to by the training staff here at Fort Lee. Might have been the second yellow of the game and now a red card given. So Fort Lee is going to have to play down to 10 men in the final 11:37 of this game. Now the next thing is, will it be a penalty kick? And just as I was talking about a couple of moments ago, this is where you don't want this to get out of hand. The goalie is Alton Tafalage, number 1, the junior right now for Fort Lee. And the way that he's warming up, might be expecting it to be a potential PK. Again, 11:37 left to go here in the second half. A 5-1 advantage for Fort Lee. But it looks like it will be a foul in the box as they're seemingly getting set for a penalty kick. As Creskill will try to produce their second goal of the game as they trail by 4. This is a must-have situation if they want to try to get back in this game. Alton Tafalage, the junior, who had a save against Riverdale in their last game, had 8 saves and 1 goal allowed against Bergenfield back on September 25th. Benjamin Tomas got the start. He played in the first half. Tafalage has played here in the second half and has done a nice job of making a couple stops as well, including a brilliant diving save to that far side post. Again, we're still waiting to resume play here. 11:37 left to go in this second half of play. A player for Creskill still being attended to on the field after that was a very late and physical challenge by Fort Lee. In looking at the playoff picture for both teams, Creskill is in North 1 Group 1. Coming into tonight's game, they're currently ranked 4th in power points, behind Waldwick, Emerson, and Mountain Lakes in a potential first-round matchup as the top 16 teams qualify in each section. Creskill would play number 13 Bergen Charter. So Creskill behind Waldwick, Emerson, and Mountain Lakes. Right now coming in as the number 4 seed in North 1 Group 1. And for Fort Lee in North 1 Group 3 this season, they are ranked 8th in power points coming into tonight's game. The top 3 seeds would be Roxbury, followed by Mount Olive and Ramapo. And a potential first-round matchup if the season ended today would be Wayne Valley, the 9 seed, taking on Fort Lee, number 8. So Fort Lee would earn a big result here if this stands, but this game is not over yet as the Creskill player is being helped off the field, can't put any weight, looks like, on that left foot. We hope that he is going to be okay again after a late challenge by Fort Lee defensively on that far side of the field. So the referee doing a good job of talking things over, seems like, with the teams to try to settle everyone down a bit. So we're still trying to get the resumption of play here. We have not seen any sign of a signal. Everyone is lined up right now for the penalty kick. Creskill looking for their second goal of the game. They scored once in the first half. That cut the deficit from 2-0 to 2-1. Now trying to pull back to within 3 goals here with a penalty kick. Jean-Paul Solano will tee it up from the spot. Tafalage in goal for Fort Lee. Solano guesses right and gets it to the right side of the net. And for Solano, that is his second goal of the game. And with 11:37 left to go in regulation, Creskill pulls back to within 3 at 5-2. Both teams converting on one penalty kick apiece. Solano, both goals here tonight for the Cougars. Strelly with 4 of the 5 goals here this evening for Fort Lee. So each team with 1 goal apiece also in this second half. Strelly and Solano, the 2 goal scorers in this second stanza. So time is of the essence here for Creskill. They have scored once. Will they continue this comeback attempt? Solano booting that one down, easily handled by Tafalage. Also a reminder that Fort Lee is playing with 10 men. After a second yellow card was picked up, the red card was issued. So Creskill will have the numbers advantage here for the remaining 10:45 and counting left to the second half of play. Fort Lee has to be careful in terms of how physically they're trying to play here defensively, as Creskill's trying to ratchet up the pressure themselves. But the referees are going to be trying to keep tempers down between these two teams. Taken to the far side. There's some contact, and that's going to be a foul. Whistle against Fort Lee, and a free kick upcoming for Creskill. As we approach the final 10 minutes of action. Again, if Fort Lee holds on to win here, as they're in a position leading by 3 goals, they would travel to Don Bosco Prep for the second round on Sunday afternoon. To play in the second round of this Bergen County tournament. This would be the first win in the county tournament since 2017 for Fort Lee. After having lost to Waldwick in the prelims in 2018 and Creskill in the first round in 2019. Creskill playing it forward to the top of the box, and Fort Lee just quickly getting it and firing it back out of bounds. Good sportsmanship by the two players that were in the midst of that collision. This Creskill player helping up. The defender had fallen and been pushed down for Fort Lee. Played over to the far side. Creskill trying to build up the attack and build up a little momentum here to make things dicey for the Bridgemen. We're trying to salt away the final 8:45 of this game. Played forward with a 1-2 and nearly a one-timer finish in front. Instead it goes out of bounds. And now a couple of subs being made by Coach Main to get back onto the field. Timofey Strelli being one of them. His team doesn't need any more goals, but Strelli and Hashi coming back onto the field, trying to help possess the ball a little bit more and run a little more time off the clock. Tafalage kicking this one away. Tafalage and Benjamin Tomas each allowing 1 goal apiece in this game for Fort Lee. Hashi. A goal and an assist in this game for the Bridgemen. Good defending there by Creskill. They'll send it down the other way, headed forward though by the Bridgemen. Looks like Charles Mutran, senior number 8, had been clipped behind the play, as he was hobbled a little bit and still trying to fix his cleat. Coming up on 7 minutes remaining now in regulation. Comes back to Mutran. Little Gimpy still gets it away. Over to the near side. Ozin. Creskill with a good build up here. There's a shot, though wide of the mark, as that curled outside to the far left side. That'll go out for a goal kick with 6:45 and counting left to go here in the second half of play. Following their game, if this result stands on Sunday, the next game then for Fort Lee would be in league play back in the Big North American Division, as they'll travel to Dumont and then follow that up with a trip to Dwight Morrow. We're coming back home to host Ridgefield Park on the 21st. There are 2 home games, though, that need to be made up for Fort Lee against Cliffside Park and Dwight Morrow. They need to have those rescheduled before the start of the postseason at the end of October. As that's played back in space, as Creskill will move it up now. After this one, Creskill will have to travel to Emerson, the other team that has bested them this season. There's a centering ball, and cleaning that one up is Noah Lee. They'll travel to Emerson, Waldwick, and Park Ridge before coming back home, finally on October 19th to host Saddle River Day. So a demanding couple of road games upcoming now for the Cougars of Creskill. And a chance to build potentially their playoff resume as well. With those games against Waldwick and Emerson, two of the teams that rank above them in power points for the upcoming North 1 Group 1 sectional playoffs. Played to the far side. Hashi now clears it down the other way. As we approach 5 minutes remaining here at the Sugarman Sports Complex. What a performance this evening. A season-high 5 goals for Fort Lee. 4 of which came in the first half alone. Fort Lee took the initial lead. 36 seconds into the game, and they have never looked back since. As Creskill looks to have an injured player limping off, Jeffrey Kwan, the senior. With 4:33 left to go in this second half. But Timofey Strelli has been the story in this game. 4 goals for the senior. With 7 goals coming into today's game, had the game-winning goal in the 1-0 victory the last time out against Riverdale on October 5th. 4 goals here tonight to give him 11 goals on the season. Here is the aforementioned Strelli. What a dribbling display. Leaving off to the far side to Hashi. Hashi trying to double his scoring account. Good defending in the box, though, by Creskill. Hashi had his first goal of the season back in the first half of play. There's a long ball down the near side for Creskill, and that's just shot wide of the mark with Taflage coming well out of his goal as that curled over to the far left side. Taflage, did he get a piece of it? So they're going to say that Taflage did not touch it. It just curled wide of the mark from the near side, and that will go out for now an ensuing goal kick. As Wiesel was trying to send it into that far side post to make it back-to-back goals in the game for Creskill. As that's knocked out of play to the near side as we come up on 3 minutes now left to go. And Shinoda sending it back to his teammate to restart the play here for Noah Lee. Sent over to the far side, up and over the head of the closest men there. Elam Alamadi, number 16, who's come into the game for Coach Demba Main, was the closest defender there for Fort Lee. Return shot, and that's well off the mark, and that'll go out of play for another goal kick. 2:15 and counting now left to go here in the second half. So Fort Lee is on their way to their 3rd win at home this season, snapping a 2-game losing skid after losing games against Westwood and Ramsey in their last 2 home fixtures. And they will get win number 7 in game number 10 this season. So a great start to the year for Fort Lee, and this will help in terms of garnering additional power points for the North 1 Group 3 playoff picture. Again, Fort Lee checking into tonight's game, 8th in power points in North 1 Group 3. Moving up the field is Solano. He has both of the goals here this evening for Creskill. With under 90 seconds left to go in the second half, Solano playing it backwards as he moves it closer to midfield. Over to the near side to Perhati. Trying to connect once again in the give and go with Solano. That'll be a handball against Hashi. Try to say that it did not touch the hand. Instead, it was part of the arm, but still that would count. With under a minute now left to go here in the second half of play. Free kick upcoming now for Creskill. They scored once in the first half, once here in the second half. As they send that one wide of the mark to the near side. That might be their final shot opportunity of the night. But the 6-game win streak will come to an end here for Creskill. They'll look to bounce back in their next game on the road at Emerson, trying to enact revenge after losing at home back on September 13th. And for Fort Lee, something that has eluded them in the last couple of postseason runs in the Bergen County tournament. A win in the Bergen County tournament. They will take home their first win since 2017 and will take on the Ironmen of Don Bosco Prep in their next game on Sunday afternoon in Ramsey. With 5 seconds remaining here in regulation. And the buzzer will sound here as that will end an excellent performance here at home for Fort Lee. The Bridgemen defeat Creskill and enact revenge after the Cougars eliminated them from the 2019 Bergen County Tournament. They return the favor here in 2021. Fort Lee victorious by a final score of 5-2 over Creskill. Creskill will fall to 7-2 on the season. Fort Lee will improve to 7-3 here in 2021. And again, we'll take on Don Bosco Prep in the second round of the county tournament on Sunday afternoon in their next game. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this exciting soccer game here from the Sugarman Sports Complex in Fort Lee as the Bridgemen are victorious and now make it 2 straight wins on the season. So for Dimitri Nanis and Maria Giannatazio, I'm Dan Long saying so long as you've been watching Fort Lee Boys Soccer on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Take care, everybody.